Hello, my name is Christian Ream, and I'm a senior and flight operations student at the Alliance Academy for Innovation. I'm here today with industry professionals from the business and IT pathway. This is another Trade Talk as part of our ongoing series of learning from business and industry in our community. We, as middle and high school students, have very important decisions to make around high school career pathways and as we begin thinking about life after graduation. We hope these Trade Talks will help our students and families have these discussions at home. Your counselors can also help you in identifying courses that fit into your career aspirations. Before we get started, I'd like to ask each of our panelists to introduce themselves, telling us your name, company, and position there.
My name is Ann Margaret Johnston. I have a CPA firm for the past 25 years in Forsyth County. I am obviously the owner, and we do all kinds of accounting in all over the U.S.
I'm Kristen Morrissey. I serve on the Forsyth County Board of Education. In my previous life, I was an automation specialist in the Monroe County Library System.
I'm Rusty Smith. I'm an agency owner here at State Farm in Cumming, Georgia.
Again, we thank you for being with us today. So now we will jump right into our questions that were recently submitted by some of our high school students. So I'll start with you. What motivated you to go into the field of business/IT?
Basically, I figured out while I was in school that accounting is a very good industry to be in, that you can get a job anywhere. So if you understand financials, you understand how to do any kind of planning, cash flows, things in that nature, you can get a job in any industry in the world. So it really attracted me because I knew I'd always have a job somewhere.
I was going to college for microelectronic engineering because I was strong in math and science, but I had a job in the library doing automation and data processing and quality control, and I really found I enjoyed working on the database, and I was kind of detail-oriented, and we were, at that time, going and working on the web and making things go automated. So I really found that that was more my passion than actual engineering. So it really, for me, was working in a basically a job that really shifted my interest more into the IT world versus engineering. So that's the beauty of working in a business. You actually kind of find my passion more so than just in the college courses that I was taking.
Mine's a bit different. I was blessed enough to have a father that was an entrepreneur, and I loved the time that it afforded him to spend with us growing up. And so I always knew that I wanted to own my own business and eventually run my own business when I became old enough and somewhat wise enough to do so. So that's my main motivation to be an entrepreneur.
And what classes would you recommend students take in high school that would help them have a chance at going into the field of business/IT?
So I would recommend Accounting 101, the basic accounting. You learn the boring debits and credits, but it pays off to understand that. I also would recommend, if you're into tax or you think you might want to do tax returns, I would take a tax class if it's offered. And I think it's important to understand law. So business law is very important as well. I've found in my industry it comes into play a lot.
I would echo the accounting because that's one course I did not take, and I wish I had taken that just to have a better fundamental knowledge of that. Definitely computer science, and I'm glad I had some knowledge of web design just because I think you need to understand how that works and the functionality of that. But I would also recommend, even with business and IT, I think it's great to be well-rounded. So I think even taking some fine arts courses, whether it's band or music or drama, something that just keeps yourself well-balanced and keeps your social skills as well. I think just being out there and taking a little bit of everything is a good course to take.
I would echo all those comments. I think the basic accounting is extremely important if you're going to run a viable business and remain solvent. Business law, obviously very, very important because I'm in the insurance industry, and a lot of the time the laws is a moving target sometimes with that. One of the other things I would recommend is making sure that you're participating in some sort of a business organization as well, such as the FBLA or DECA. I know DECA was very, very important and integral into my developing my passion for business and getting me set up so that I could really have an idea of what I wanted to pursue outside of school and on into my college education as well.
And describe some of your daily interactions with people. Do you work in groups or on your own daily? What jobs do you do? And how do your interactions affect your job?
So I have a small firm. There's about 5 of us, and I interact with the other staff a lot every day. But I also interact with clients a lot, not only in person, but on the phone, mostly on the phone. And being the social butterfly that I am, I interact a lot, and I enjoy it. It's important, I think, if you want to get in the accounting industry and be above everyone else, is that you get in it with a flair of a personality, because most accountants are known not to have a personality. And so interacting with people, showing that you're knowledgeable, proving that you know what you're doing is very important. So like I said, most of my interactions are from one-on-one and in person, on the phone as well.
I think the personality, I think that's a really good point. One of the things we've heard from doing these meetings over the years is from businesses that they really want to make sure our graduates and our students have good interpersonal skills. So whether you're communicating via phone, via email, and writing, that it's really important that you have that skill and not just know your trade or your expertise. I know in the work that I do on the Board of Education, I do get a lot of phone calls, I get a lot of emails, and we do a lot of in-person work. We've been doing a lot of town halls, for example, lately, where myself and other elected officials go and visit local HOAs, and we sit down in a format very much like this and sit down and listen to residents, and we hear their concerns. And I find that to probably be one of our most effective form of communications, because it's an informal communication. People tell us their concerns, they ask their questions, and it's really a great way for us to get a pulse on the community and hear their concerns and alleviate their concerns. And it's just really a great way for us to hear what they're thinking about. And I think that's probably one of the best ways you can communicate with people. With all the technology we have nowadays, there's just nothing like the old-fashioned art of conversation. So that's something I just hope never gets lost in our world today, is just learning how to sit down and listen to people and hear their concerns.
Very similar to Ann Margaret. I have a smaller firm. I've got 4 direct employees that work for me in my office, and I've got 1 that's a virtual employee by design. Do I work in groups or interactions with people? I have customers that come in the office all the time, and we've kind of built our business on face-to-face interactions. Spend a lot of time on the phone talking to customers. So I think that in this virtual world, to echo the personality piece, you can't just be behind a computer without the personality now, because everything's video conferencing and having those conversations. So I think that's very, very key, and making sure that you have the soft skills and knowing how to interact professionally is very, very important. But the world is changing, so I think that one of the biggest things that you need nowadays is that adaptability, the ability to be able to be effective in your conversations, in your mannerisms, and in your language, both in person and virtually now, and making sure that you're not set in your ways, and you're going to be able to adapt to whatever the next iteration of this is that the new world we live in.
Very nice. And what are some skills that students need to have in order to do your job? What do they need to be good at? What sort of education beyond high school do they need to have for the job?
In my particular industry, you need to like numbers. It's very important. You need to understand numbers. I think in my particular job, I'm on a lot of boards where I'm always the treasurer, because they want a CPA as treasurer. And I'm able to take a financial statement and you can hand it to me right now, and I can tell you all about the industry that I'm looking at. And so that's important. You've got people that come to you that need help with their business. They need help learning what they need to get loans to make their business grow. So you need to understand the numbers and understand it personally and passionately, so that way you can make sure that they understand them as well. Also, I want to say you got to have a sense of humor. It's very important, especially with numbers, to have a bit of a sense of humor, to not too much where you make them feel bad, but just to be animated, to be happy, to make a joke. There's nothing wrong with that. Just because you're a business person doesn't mean you have to be stiff. You just need to be comfortable and happy and know what you're doing. The biggest thing I can tell in 5 minutes if somebody knows what they're doing and knows what they're talking about. So that's important. Know your stuff.
I would say for skills, whether it's business and IT or anything, I think it's important that you're a very responsible person. And I think time management is something that's very important to any skill or trade. If you're a student in high school, I think having a part-time job, whether that's in a fast food restaurant or a grocery store or in a business that's perhaps in finance or whatever you want to do, I think it helps you learn how to manage your day, whether from school to the job, and learn the skills, the social skills that you need to do. So I think learning to manage multiple things is a good thing to take to your next career. So I would definitely recommend responsibility, time management. I think those are some of the basic things you need beyond.
I agree with all those things, and probably the one thing I'll add that's the most important is you got to be a good listener. You have to be able to truly understand what your client is trying to accomplish, and the only way to do that is to listen to their needs, listen to their concerns, listen to their desires, and try to help right fit whatever product you have for that individual. I think you need some patience to be a business owner, I know, because sometimes it takes a little bit longer to get going than maybe you anticipate in your head, and a big dose of humility. I think when you first get out into the business world, at least my experience has always been, you want to solve every issue, you want to solve every problem, and it's okay not to know all the answers, as long as you have the confidence to go out and find the right answers for people. So just listening, having some patience, being humble, those are the biggest things for me.
Very nice. Well, I know our conversation was brief, but on behalf of myself and all of the CTA students in Forsyth County, we thank you for your valuable advice in helping middle school students decide what high school pathway they are going to pursue. Thank you.